This is the story of another road trip and another racetrack. This time, the road trip takes me and my Acura NSX nearly 600 miles due north from Knoxville, Tennessee to just northwest of Pontiac, Michigan. The racetrack in question? Waterford Hills, a compact and technical circuit on the grounds of Oakland County Sportsmen's Club in the town of Clarkston. In operation since 1958, it does seem appropriate that my first racetrack in Michigan is the first racetrack in Michigan. History lesson aside, let's pick things up on the morning of my first OTD event at Waterford Hills, the 24th track on my lap of the world. Well, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard and this is Lap of the World, your home for road trips and racetracks. And we have indeed made the 8.5-hour road trip from Knoxville up here to Waterford Hills, Michigan, to a track by the same name, Waterford Hills Road Racing Circuit, for what is shaping up to be a gorgeous day out. Waterford Hills, it's just north of Detroit, or north of Pontiac specifically. And the area around here is gorgeous. I don't know what I was expecting. You hear Detroit and you think of like urban decay and bad roads, but this ain't it. This is actually a pretty decent area up here. Much to my pleasant surprise, I guess. But this is kind of an experimental day. I had some trepidation about making the trip, given all of the stuff that's going on with the with the pandemic right now, but I decided I wanted to see if I could try and do it and be extremely responsible with everything. You can see I have my mask back here that I've been wearing around the paddock, and anytime I'm in any general proximity to anyone, really. Just have it off so you can hear me right now, really. But the folks here at Waterford Hills, seem to have done a great job sort of altering their regulations, and they've spaced out they've given assigned spaces in the paddock to promote social distancing. They also are being very strict about, they've broken up the drivers' meeting into 2 different meetings to allow people to be able to spread out some, along with some other measures that they've taken. So I do appreciate that they're taking it as seriously as I try to. But nonetheless, this is kind of we're venturing out here to see if we can be still socially responsible, but have some fun at the same time. So hopefully that's what we can accomplish today. I'm through tech already. I'm just waiting on the driver's meeting. And then after that, we will jump on track. So I'll pick you guys back up then. Thanks for joining along.
We have been here since 1958. First racetrack in Michigan. Make sure that if you are in a group that is not of your household, keep your mask on.
Before we get to the driving, I had a few takeaways from the driver's briefing. First, Waterford Hills is a training facility for course workers and volunteers, so their safety staff are among the most experienced you're likely to find in the region, if not the country. Second, the track has a sound policy that they take very seriously, evidenced most notably by the 30-foot tall noise abatement wall that extends along the entire back straight. They also strictly enforce a 75 decibel limit as measured at their property line. It's both a legal requirement and a way for them to be good neighbors, so if you plan to visit, make sure your muffler is affixed and well packed. Lastly, some emphasis was placed in the driver's meeting on passing, given the technical nature of the track, and, well, I think Ed and company put it best here.
If you are out here today just for the sheer thrill of the straight line acceleration on our front and back straights, you are at the wrong racetrack. There is a wonderful place called Milan Dragway down on 23. It's a little ways away, but it's cheaper for a day, and you get to do all the straight line that you want. You will be passed by a
Entertainingly, there is one in my group, so I suppose we'll see. Without further ado though, let's jump in the car and find our way around. Alright guys, we are on the way out here waiting to get our little bit of a gap for the first session here. Stopping as the man says. And then here we go. First, I did do some sighting laps. Not much of a blend line here at all. I did do some sighting laps with the novice group. Make sure I knew my way around and connected virtual with the reality, since the only laps I've turned here before were on a video game. And I can tell you already that the track is measurably different from it is on that particular simulation, primarily on account of the sight lines. And as always with a lot of games, the actual elevations don't necessarily translate to what you feel in reality versus what you see on the game. But it looks like a fun little circuit. I'm actually looking forward to kind of getting up to speed here and seeing what we can do. I have a feeling this may fall into the wheelhouse of the NSX as a sort of mostly second and third gear course. So we're just feeling it out right now. We're going into the S's here. And then we'll start a flying lap, and I'll kind of talk you through what I know so far after I point this fine gentleman and his MR2 past. He's clearly up to speed quicker than me. Yeah, so turn one, very, very late apex, over the crest, undulating. You got a clip on it here, and then you can straighten it out and pretty much do a straight line here. This is just a stab of the brakes and a little juke. You come up here and you actually do have to slow down for this. Another very late apex. If you get it right, it should set you up to be almost flat, I'm going to guess, up this hill. At the top of which, again, you need to keep the rear end of the car in check as you come over. Find your exit cone here, and then again, you're kind of off to an isn't straight. Brakes here at the end, and you dump it onto what will be the fastest part of the circuit, the back straight here, next to the large sound abatement wall, as they're trying to be nice to their neighbors. This comes into a tight, probably greater than a 90 here, into a little short chute, that again sees you come into a very late apex turn where you kind of have to enter mid-track and then wrap the car in before straightening it back out. Get back track right so you can do a little jog into the S's here. Come out of those, and then you're looking again to a very late apex, constant radius. Well, it's not a constant radius turn. This one actually opens. So you get to here, and I'm told you should be flat right there. I don't know if that'll be flat in my car or that's flat in the Miata, but either way. And then you're kind of braking here and just kind of pouring it in. I'm gonna have to work on how fast I pour that in because I can hear the tires talking already, and I'm not even really like attempting to go fast at this point. But anyway, so that is a lap and a bit of Waterford Hills. I'll probably show you something a little more competent here in a moment. So having made our acquaintance official, let's get to know Waterford Hills a little better. The 1.5 miles and 8 turns of this circuit wind in and around some 80 acres on the grounds of the Oakland County Sportsmen's Club, an organization which itself dates back to 1944. In 1958, the club graded a single-lane dirt track on what used to be a skeet shooting range and held something that we would probably have called a rallycross today in May of that year. After several events and commensurate complaints about dust from the town, the club paved the track later that same year. Through the late 50s and early 60s, Waterford Hills boomed to become a regional hotbed for amateur motorsports. Its profile evidenced by a visit from, by that time already a legend, Sir Sterling Moss, who, in 1961, paid the club a visit and turned some seemingly hotter than intended exhibition laps in a borrowed Lotus. So having now unexpectedly driven in the tire tracks of racing royalty, let's check back in the paddock. Alright guys, we got one session in the books at Waterford Hills, and a successful one at that. It's hot out here today, so like I said, you're seeing these vlogs for I'm either going to be probably in the car or having to go somewhere fairly remote, so I can speak without a mask on while still being in compliance with the regulations they have set up to keep the event safe, which I appreciate. You can see the nearest car to me back there in the background is some ways away, and that's by design. But all of that aside, yeah, we got one session in the books, and my takeaway, Waterford Hills is a very technical track. If there ever was such a thing as a Miata course for the the autocross crowd, if there was a Miata course in road course form, Waterford Hills is probably not far off. There's lots of very tight radius, over crest, blind turns that you have to get just right in order to carry any speed through them, so your car placement is at a premium. In that first session, car placement was also at a little bit of a premium because we had on the entry to one of the more technical turns, there was a cone in the middle of the road, and then later in the session, somebody brought some dirt back on in turn one, which is a kind of fast entry, super late apex, hold on for dear life kind of turn. But yeah, so just the technical nature of the track combined with the, I think, 90-degree ambient temperatures we're seeing today is making this, if my state of my brow is any evidence, it's hot work today. So I'm trying to stay hydrated and do the best I can there. Fortunately, the sessions, the way they have the day set up is pretty friendly. The sessions are spaced out a lot, and the event runs just a little bit later in the day to accommodate that. So I think they know how to run a sensible event up here. It seems, but yeah, so far so good. Having a great time. But we're going to try something different in the next session. We'll see if you can bring you on board for some POV track driving action without making myself sick. Before that next session, I took some time to walk around, rehydrate, and take stock of the facility. Waterford Hills has a light footprint as far as racetracks go, with relatively few buildings, no large garage structures, and no grandstands per se. That's not to say it lacks amenities, though. I've been to larger tracks that have had less. On site, you find a decently equipped grill, a gift shop, vending machine, multi-fixture restrooms, a large covered pavilion, and, under non-pandemic operation at least, multiple observation decks. All of that is just in the infield of the racing circuit, not considering the rest of the OCSC facilities. Speaking of which, no, your car is not backfiring through turn 2, it's just the shooting range next door. With that PSA out there, let's jump back in the car and see how well I actually learned the track in that first session. A minute 19 and change is somewhere in that competent but not incredible range where I land most of the time. I know I left some time on the table, likely plural seconds, but I didn't have the tire life or motivation to go find them in this heat. Happily, it did handily eclipse my simulation predicted minute 25 target. However, where at most tracks I expect to turn laps somewhere in well-driven spec Miata range, at Waterford Hills, not so much. Yep, I've just come off my fastest lap of the weekend. I'm only a half second off that pace, and I'm pointing by a Miata. In my defense, that was Christy Bagney, something of a regional phenom. You'd recognize her from the cover of Sports Car or perhaps that article in Racer magazine. She's also a local with I don't want to know how many laps to her name on Waterford Hills, so I'm not exactly disappointed. After having some thermal challenges with the car, likely a product of spending most of a given lap here at high RPM in second gear but low relative speed, I spent my afternoon drinking everything in sight, sitting in the shade, and taking a final casual session as an excuse to chase my Honda friend BJ around in his S2000. This resulted in a personal best for him and an okay save for me. Following that, I decided to quit while I was ahead and pack it up for the day. This was unwittingly a good decision, as I found later my clutch sleeve cylinder had developed a leak. And so as we wrap things up, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Ed for one of the higher production value drivers meetings I've been to in a while, Todd Q for facilitating the use of some of the historic photos, Matt for the awesome photos and drone shots, and Cindy, an NSX Club dignitary who also happens to volunteer at the track. It was fun catching up. So I have got my GPS though set to find nearest humidity, and so I'm going to get on the road and head back south. It's been a blast this weekend. Again, thanks to the track for the hospitality. It's an amazing time. They run a tight ship here. If you're in the area, highly recommend it as a place to visit. A good learning track. I think they have a lot of experience and skill to draw from here as far as just locals and regulars at the circuit. Especially once we're done with apocalypse season and they can have in-car instruction again, I think it'll be a track I would recommend. But with that said, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to get on the road, and as always, until next time, I'm Richard. This is Lap of the World, and I will see you guys in the next video, if not at the track.